Welcome to another episode of Manning the Fuck Up and Owning Your Fucking Life. Today's conversation is going to be about self control. Self control is a very sensitive topic just because we live in a society that praises tangible things like Lamborghini, women, baddies, money, all this shit. But all that shit is a byproduct of you becoming the best version of yourself. But what I would challenge you to do is I challenge you to prioritize self development, okay? Hold your fucking balls up, man up, control your fucking life, because if you don't control your urges, you don't control your lust, you don't control your energy, then it will control you. And you can't master yourself. You can't get the life that you want. You can't get the Lamborghini. You can't get all this shit here if you haven't mastered yourself as a person. So just know that if you don't control yourself, something else will. All right, lust, porn, gambling, alcohol, the fucking vape for some of you. Whatever it is, if you don't master it, then it will master you. And as a man, sad to say, no one gives a fuck. No one's coming to save you. You fucking died tomorrow. You went homeless. You're on your fucking own. So this video here is your wake up call to man the fuck up and own your fucking life, because there are too many men who are sleepwalking through life, drowning in distractions, numbing themselves with quick hits of dopamine. And the scary part about this is it's the matrix. You think porn is harmless. You think gambling is just for fun. You think hitting the fucking vape is no big deal. You hit that shit every fucking 3 minutes. But let me be real with you. I was once hooked on porn. Actually, when I was in a 6-year relationship, I would sneak and beat off instead of, being intimate with my girl. I would be gambling. I would be spending money instead of investing it, for the future that I say I want for myself, right? I was impulsive, undisciplined, out of control, honestly, just out of alignment. And the thing is when you're out of control, your life will reflect it. All right. You start lying, hiding things, you lose energy, your confidence tanks. Then you start making excuses. And then shit just goes down. And slowly your woman starts losing respect for you. Then after that, you start losing respect for yourself. This is where the depression comes in. I call this the domino effect. And just remember that a lack of self control doesn't just stay in one lane. This shit is cancerous, all right? It spreads. First, you're unfaithful in your relationship, you'll be flaky in your business, you can't say no to the late night fucking fast food cravings, the urges. You start watching porn, you don't know why you keep spiraling, but it's because you got stuck into this cycle, and eventually you become depressed because you've been stuck in this cycle for so long. You lose your purpose, you lose your drive. Now, remember this, that if you're running from discomfort and you're chasing short-term pleasure all the time, then you're voluntarily handing over your power. All right. Now, this right here is what I like to call the lust trap. All right. We'll talk about lust for a second. And this is a sensitive topic just because we live in a society that praises instant gratification. All right. But know this, that lust is killing you. Okay. Porn, scrolling on IG, casual sex, all of it. You think it's just entertainment, you think it's cool, but what you're really doing is you're rewiring your brain to seek instant hits of pleasure. And the problem with that is you want everything to be fast. You're no longer disciplined, you're no longer focused, driven. And I was there, watching porn, telling myself it was normal, or oh, it's not a problem. But then I realized that it was actually stealing my presence, stealing my confidence. And honestly, it was just numbing my connection with real women. You can be as confident as you want, but you know what I mean? Whenever you're doing things like that, it's just negative. You can't serve two masters, your higher self and your lust. You have to choose one. Now, there was a time that I was spiraling. I'd be up late night gambling, fucking casino, chasing losses, thinking the next bet was gonna be a hit and fix everything, throwing money down the fucking drain in crypto and trading options. I'm lying to myself, lie to the people that I love. Then I'd turn around, open up a porn website, trying to numb the pain, forget everything, go to sleep, right? That's how it works. These vices, whatever they are for you, They creep in silently and quietly, and then they'll rob you of everything that makes you who you are, that makes you strong, that makes you a man. But here's the truth, okay? Every downfall has patterns, and when I was isolated, I made worse decisions, than when I was training. And when I wasn't training, I, I felt weak. I felt lost. I had no purpose. I just felt like I was just floating out here. And but this is the thing that changed. The thing that changed is whenever I noticed the patterns, I took control and I changed it. Okay, so let me break it down for you. First thing to do to break that pattern, get back in control of things, is cut the triggers. Okay, if your phone tempts you, put a lock on your apps. All right. If you vape whenever you're stressed, toss it, and deal with the discomfort. Face it like a man. Stop running from hard times. Make it hard to access these weak fucking coping mechanisms. The second one's gonna be create friction. All right. Don't make bad habits easy. You shouldn't be able to hit play on your vice within 2 seconds. Put walls between you and those temptations. This is gonna give you more time to think before you jump in there. The third was going to be getting the gym, and this ain't about just getting jacked and muscles. It's about teaching yourself how to do hard shit daily, you know, forcing yourself to do something positive. And then the fourth was going to be create non-negotiables, wake up on time, daily sweat, some time with God, the things that you do no matter how you feel. And, that's how you're going to build self-control. All right. The fifth one's going to be journal. All right. Journal those weak moments. Start identifying the times you relapse. What triggered you, what pattern led to it, and then fix the pattern. You know what I mean? Dissect it. Understand why you folded. Number six is going to be stay around strong men. Okay. If all of your friends are addicted to pleasure, then what do you think is going to happen to you? All right. You need men who sharpen you, okay? Who call you out, who hold you to a standard, who are gonna tell you the fucking truth. They're not gonna tell you what you want to hear. And this is how we become fucking elite, okay? Now, here's the truth. Brother, you don't need to be perfect, all right? You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be in control, okay? Because a man who controls his urges, a man who can delay gratification, a man who says no when it's easier to say yes, well, brother, that man becomes dangerous in the best fucking way possible. Okay? That man earns respect. Okay? That man builds wealth. That man leads his family. That man becomes a protector, a leader, a solid rock for his fucking family. All right? You're not a slave. You're not broken. You're just undisciplined. And you can fix all that by starting today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love you guys, man. I genuinely do. I feel like there's not enough men out there who are rooting for men. I come from a horrible background. I'm all I have in this world. And, I don't say that to play the lone wolf. That's not something that I'm promoting. Because if you have people who are there for you, then I want you to, cling to those people. Okay, cling to those people when times are hard. But regardless of who you have there for you, you need to be able to validate yourself. You need to build a foundation, something that you can fall back on. Because when life gets stressful, when you get stuck in this cycle of not knowing why the fuck you're doing what you're doing, why your head feels so cloudy, why you don't feel like you have control, why you don't feel locked in, you need to have a foundation. You need to have something to fall back on. Okay? You need to have something. You need to be able to have a place that you can go to just kind of get back to control of things. I don't care if that's the gym, if you're a fisherman, you need to go out and go catch something into the pond. You need to go on a drive. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? But don't get caught in that cycle of feeling like you need to run to something that's bad for you to just kind of get that quick fix. You're no better than a junkie, a drug junkie at that point. This is all tainting and it's all bad for your mental health. So I hope you guys appreciated the video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, whatever. I'm going to continue to put this out there. This is a commitment that I made to myself that by the time I'm 30 years old, um, I will have major influence in the positive way. There's no ego here, but I feel like God has put me through things and He's opened doors for me, for my life to be a testimony to others. Okay, you got this, bro. Start today, day one or one day.